Okay, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Members, thank you and welcome to the AFRINIC 20 meeting, annual general members meeting. We all have got the agenda. I think you all received the agenda and it's being projected on the screen. So let's go through. The first phase is really doing an agenda review and agreeing that this is the items that we're going to discuss today. So if we can just scroll up, we want to, if anybody has a suggested amendment. We want to first scroll through. Can you scroll through the agenda, please? Please do the scroll. Okay. All right. Go ahead. Agenda. Please put the microphone on.
Oh, thank you, Chair. I'm hoping that we have all the members who need to be in the room because I'm getting a bit worried with the attendance we have of members, and there's going to be some of us having to depart early because of the Ethiopian Airline flight that a number of members are on. If we could make a slight adjustment on the program to accommodate the elections a bit earlier. I'm not sure exactly at what point, but probably if we can have the elections before we take the coffee break and come back in for the bylaws review or and whatever else we'll not have covered, that will basically, I'm trying to ask for permission for us to be able to have elections before 4 o'clock, or at least begin the process at about 4, so that by 5, those who have to leave for the airport can comfortably leave. Otherwise, I'm worried that we'll be left very few of us to carry out the election. And therefore, for those, because the e-voting is already closed, and it's not possible for those who want to leave early to go back and do e-voting. Can that be considered by the board?
Let's take the other comment, please.
I'd just like to second Fiona's motion. Thank you.
Okay, a motion has been floored. All those, should we take a show of hands, please? Those of you putting up your hands, what are you answering? There was no question on the toe. Okay, those of you in favor of the motion as it's been presented by Fiona. Those of you against the motion as presented by Fiona. We have one against, okay, carried. Let me review with the team and we'll see how we can accommodate that in the timetable, and we'll get back to you in 2 minutes. Okay, we will switch item 4, the operations, sorry, the financial update? No. We'll do it immediately after the coffee, okay? Thank you. So, Fiona, it will be done after coffee, thank you. Okay, sorry, been advised differently. It will be done before the coffee break so that we can do the counting during the coffee break. Thank you very much. Okay, we'll now move on to item number 2, which is approval of the last AGMM minutes, which had been circulated to all members. Does any member have any comments on the minutes as circulated? Okay, in the absence of any comment, can I please have a motion to approve the minutes as was presented to the members? Go ahead.
I'll propose that the minutes be accepted as stated.
Anybody from the floor to second?
Okay, standing up to second.
Thank you. Thank you. I like this. Moving on swiftly. Okay, now item number 3, which is the board activity update from the chair. Hey, date is wrong. Move on to the next page, please. Okay. So let's talk about the what you see then is the current structure of the board with the regional representations, which are the board members you see here seated with us. We also do have a council of elders that have actually been working with us, and we actually had a good meeting with them here this week. We also have 2 independents, and we're having the second election this week, today, to fill the second poll of the independents. Okay, so as per boards, and this is reflected on the website, those are our board layouts, and the members are here. I will ask each member just to say hello and what region they're covering, starting with Aminata.
Hello, I'm Aminata. Hi, I'm Aminata, and I'm a non-regional board member.
Hello, my name is Christian Bope. I'm an alternate for Central Africa region.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Mark Elkins. I am the alternative member for the Southern African region.
Hello, Paulos Nyirenda, Southern African region, main board member.
Adiela Plogan, CEO.
Sunday Folayan, representing West Africa and Vice Chair.
Janvier Noulay, representing Central Africa, primary Central Africa.
Chris from Indian Ocean, alternate.
Afternoon, John Walubengo, alternate East Africa.
Aisha Nakhal for North Africa.
Okay, and as you see, we have the transition alternates that we've just heard from. Okay, in terms of board committees and activities, we do have a finance committee with members of Mark Elkins, myself, Aminata Gaba, and Adil. We have our audit committee and we have a remuneration committee. Those are the current committees that are active on the board. We also do have an ad hoc, which is a NOMCOM committee, which does come back as we need, and the members of the NOMCOM committee are selected as we need them, and there must be a member from the board on the NOMCOM committee. So this year, Mark Elkins was the member on the board from the NOMCOM committee. As a board, we do have 3 meetings so far in 2013, face-to-face and teleconference meetings during AIS, and we have an induction session that happened in July. We have 17 various resolutions at the moment, and these have been published. So we have budget, policy, investment, and delegation of authority. We did have a strategic planning session for 2015 to 2018, and we've collected data. In fact, we're concluding some more work on that tomorrow, and then very soon we'll be sharing that with you. We also had a joint Afrinic and RIPE NCC meeting to share ideas and learn from what they do, and that happened again earlier this year in Mauritius. That, at the moment, is our attendance matrix for our meetings, and we have had a very good attendance this year. Okay, and really very short and snap. That's what I have so far, and we will continue as we move during the afternoon. Thank you. Do you have any questions for me? Thank you. Okay, we are now moving on to our next, which is the activities update. I also I need to let the members know that a resolution has been taken that we will be publishing all our board activities online in terms of minutes and resolutions. So very soon those will be available for you as we continue. So I would like to invite member services to do a presentation, please.
Okay. Thank you very much, Chair. We will have, in fact, the operation update that will include member activity update, and this is based on what we have done in 2013 and the beginning of 2014. I would like to introduce this by saying that in the life of this organization, Afrinic, we are now entering in the third area of the organization. From 2004 to 2008, there was a clear objective given to the organization by the community, which was mainly to get ICANN accreditation for Afrinic as RAR and ensure that the registration of number resources by African for African is effective, and the organization managed to handle its incubation period successfully. That was reported on with 97% execution of that business plan approved by the board in 2008. That has led to a new strategic plan for the organization that was developed and built by the board for the period 2009 to 2011. That strategic plan has also set some objective and goal for the organization, among which is the institutionalization of AFRENIC, making sure that AFRENIC move from its startup state to an organization that can live by itself, that can have structure, that can have process, allowing it to be fully sustainable. And that has been the activities and the plan on which we have been working over the past 4 years. This strategic plan and the activity plan related to them has been completed at more than 90% execution rate. And as the chair has announced, we have now entered another stage of the growth of the organization with a new strategic plan, which will definitely define new objective and goal for the coming year. Throughout all this process, we will make sure that the community is involved. Your input and comment will be taken into consideration. Already the survey that we had in 2012 has been very important in the process, and input has been taken as well from community during the AFRENIC 19 meeting in Abidjan. So this will be a full 360-degree exercise so that we properly project the organization for the future. On this note, I will then pass the floor to Anne Rachel to give us an overview of the operation of the organization. She presented that this morning, but we will highlight some of the key areas. Thank you.
Good afternoon, members. So I'm not going to go back on, most of the stuff that you saw this morning. As you know, operations in AFRENIC has IT, the IT and engineering department, the member services department, and the communications department. On the update that we all gave you this morning, we had some of the things that we were thinking we have been doing since 2013, that we're going to build on more this year that we have started already. In communications, as I told you, it's mostly making sure that as much as possible, we stay close to members and community. To build up the member pool, we need to make sure that we get the information out there, that people believe and know that, AFRENIC is here, that they can get number resources, because believe it or not, we still have in this region this legend somehow that you can not get IP addresses unless you go to the operator or to your ISP. And given that you also get this fantasy that is going around that these guys sell them at a dear price, you can't get enough IP addresses. So we really have our work cut out for us, and in that sense, at communications. It is making sure that AFRENIC is known. It is making sure that people know that these are the processes whereby they can get IP addresses. This is how this is facilitated. We told you about the new, more intuitive member portal that we're doing, inside member services. We're also, as I told you, distributing the infrastructure first for business continuity, but also to be closer to members. Believe it or not, bandwidth is still pretty expensive, and in some places, we feel it dearly. So this is a quick recap of what we all told you this morning, and basically I'm here to really listen to, what is it that you as members would like to see more in these three departments? Can we have a dialogue on that? Andrew? No? Fiona, help me. Is there anything that we can do more to help? Seriously, we've told you since this morning some of the things that we're doing, and it would really be helpful to hear from you all. We know we have issues with the payments we told you, with the RSA signings, with, lag time in terms of looking at your request. That is all noted, absolutely, and we'll make sure, some things are resolved. But I want to hear from you. Fiona?
Thanks, Anne Rachel. Sorry, I'm going to just tie that to something I was going to raise. I wasn't sure that to raise it after the chairman's presentation on the board structure improvement or to raise it now, but I think this would be the better time to raise it. And I think a lot of what we have experienced as members in terms of the delays and all the things you're recognizing you have failed in doing may probably be improved if also the board approached some things differently. And I like that for the first time we have actually gotten details of the way the board is structured in terms of the different committees. However, the one committee that would help us in terms of ensuring procedural issues and service delivery to members is better done is a board governance committee. So I'd like to ask that in the next year, the board considers having in place a board governance committee that looks into all these streamlining of all these issues, operational issues that seem to put members at loggerheads with management. I, having been one of them of allocation of IP address for the exchange point, we sometimes are not so clear in our procedures and our bylaws on a straight way of getting things done. I think maybe we allow for staff to be able to interpret and make a decision, and sometimes it's also not so straightforward for them exactly what we are looking for, and there needs to be some consultation or guidance, and that would best come from a board governance committee, if there's one in place, to be able to ensure that there's a smooth flow of service delivery to the members and operational wise. Thank you.
Hi, Andrew here from Liquid Telecom. Since you asked so nicely that I say something, I will. I think I agree with Fiona, a board governance committee, and I think that also ties into something that Mike Silber suggested on the members list, where we have probably the same committee reviewing things like election guidelines, policy guidelines, and how they and the bylaws and the Mauritian Companies Act all fit in together so that we have a consolidated approach that doesn't end up with one particular part being in conflict with another. Because I think there have been some debates about potential conflicts, and I do think that it would be in the community's interest to have a working group to actually work through those issues one by one. The only other thing that I think would be good to see from AFRINIC as a member is a more clearly stated timeline of how things are going to progress and the timelines that things are going to happen in. If, for example, there's an autoresponder to all members when you submit a ticket that says the ticket will be responded to in 24 hours. If that is realistic, great. If, however, you find a large number of tickets are taking 48 hours to respond to, rather adjust that notice to say this is going to take 48 hours so that members aren't sitting waiting in anticipation of something that may or may not come. So if a member puts in a request and it's going to take a little bit longer to process, there's no problem with the delay per se. It's the communication about the potential delay that I would like to see resolved. Thanks.
Thank you both. That is well noted. And I'm truly sorry about some of the things, some of the delays, but as we explained again this morning, in terms of the hostmaster team, we were missing, 2 people. So one person, it's not to excuse that, but yeah, communication in terms of going back to members and saying, sorry, we will come back to you later, this is what we're facing would be good. Any more suggestions?
I'd like to really stick to the agenda of the day, and then there'll be sessions for that, because the agenda right now is just an update. Let's stick to that, please.
Okay.
I'm conscious of the fact that some people do want to have the election earlier, so if we strike, they will miss the opportunity to do, because we've changed the agenda for them to have an election earlier.
Okay. So in fact, I mean, this was it from me, you know, given that we have given, in terms of really member services, we had given the updates this morning. And I am hoping that if there are any more questions, that members will use the members list or contact the whole team, you know, on the different lists that you have available, for us to know if there are any, you know, improvements that you need. You will hear more. You heard, for example, about the document system that we're putting together. You will hear more about IT also on the distributed infrastructure that we're putting together. So if there are any more questions on those, we're more than happy to take them either here or later on as you wish. We're here to serve you. So thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Anne Rachel and all your team. I will now call the Director of HR and Administration, Christian Fanchette, to give us an update on the HR and admin side.
Right, good. Right, I'm going to walk you through the main projects that we've done this year and the projects that are still ongoing. So we'll start. I'll show you first of all the organizational structure. It's not changed since 2012. It's the same, and we are trying to fine-tune it a bit just to make it more flexible so as to respond more quickly to the needs of the changing environment. Now, if you have a look at the number of employees, we had 24 in 2011, and we did the restructuring exercise in 2012, so the number increased to 35. And in 2013, December 2013, we had 40 employees, 20 being local people and 20 international employees. And you will see that from now on, it's going to plateau at around 40. Now, if you look at the percentage rate of turnover, turnover being calculated as follows: number of people leaving the enterprise during the year divided by an average number of employees during the year. Sorry. Right, thank you. Right. So I repeat, it's the number of employees leaving the enterprise during the year divided by the average number of employees during the year. So we had two peaks in 2008 and 2010, but from 2010 you will see that the trend is going down, and at the end of 2013 the turnover rate was 7.8 on average. Now this is a list of all those we've recruited during the year 2013 and at the beginning of 2014. Now our main projects that we've completed last year. The first one is the human resources management system. The project now is running smoothly. We've got statistical reports generated, and the main objective is at the end of this year to produce the first ever bilan social, which is the social audit for Afrinic. Now, we've also completed the new employee pack, which is which encompasses so many elements for the new employees to get into Afrinic as quickly as possible. We've also submitted to management a human resources strategic plan for the year. It's based on the Afrinic values, on Afrinic mission, vision, core values, and we've done a HR SWOT analysis as well. So we worked on this to produce a strategic plan, and we've ended up with key results areas and key performance indicators based on the balanced scorecard. Now, we've gone through a team building exercise for the whole staff of Afrinic this year on the 7 habits of highly effective people. What we want to do is have people working together as a team and as well developing personally in terms of personal development. We've got as well a team, we had as well a team building workshop for top management during the year, and we did a building and maintaining a team exercise with all the staff in 2013, so to get the team spirit. Now, in terms of performance management, we've organized a 360-degree feedback exercise on behavioral skills and competencies. That was in March 2013, and we are carrying out the same exercise this year just to see whether we are improving or not. Now, we participated as well in a salary survey in the ICT sector in Mauritius last year, just to benchmark to see whether the salaries and the conditions we were offering to our employees were at par with the sector. Now, the ongoing projects, those which are about to be completed, the most important one is, in fact, there are 2 important ones. The first one is the ISO certification. We've completed, we've documented some 75 processes, and we are going to be audited on 45 processes linked to our core activities. This is going to be done in August, and hopefully we will get our certification then. Now, the second part is the performance management system. We've completed all job descriptions as per the new form. We have done almost 90% of key results areas for our employees and KPIs, and in a few months we are going to complete this exercise, in a few weeks in fact. And as I told you, we are completing the 360-degree exercise this year as well. There are also a few initiatives, but I'll just mention 2 or 3. We have reviewed the induction program so as to make the new employees get into Afrinic rapidly, as I just said. We are working on our staff engagement, and we still lay a lot of emphasis on the staff welfare of our employees. For example, the World Cup is coming, so we are programming a few activities because we've got 5 teams, 5 African teams participating in this competition, and we are going to organize such activities at Afrinic. So that's about it for our activities. So I've gone through the list of activities we've already completed and those that are ongoing. Hopefully, I'll be very happy to answer your questions if you want now, or Chairman, is it after? After the whole list of presentations? Okay, thanks. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Christian, for your presentation. We have the Q&A at the end of the whole session, so I will now call up Neria, our head of IT and infrastructure, to give us an update on Afrinic infrastructure.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, members, good afternoon. I will now present to you a brief overview of what the IT and engineering team has been busy with during 2013 and the beginning of 2014. Starting in January 2013, we have launched a series of activities to improve our service delivery level and the resiliency of our infrastructure. 2014 is just a continuity exercise in the same line. Our end goal is to ensure that we put in place pieces of the puzzle so that our team and our infrastructure can be strengthened, improve our change management process, and make sure that we have a sound business continuity plan. As you know, the strategy that we have adopted is the virtualization of our infrastructure. The advantages are many, among which we can talk about cost reduction because we make sure that we optimize resources, the enhancement of our DR capabilities, and the stability of our services. Our services are currently run from 3 data centers with a recovery point in Egypt. Mauritius hosts our corporate services at our headquarters, and we have a data center in Joburg, in Johannesburg, hosted in Internet Solutions Data Center, where we actually peer at Jinx. We also have a data center in Cape Town, Terraco data center, and we peer with NAP Africa. Our objective, our aim, is to make sure that we have a distributed architecture across the continent so that we can have a presence of several parts of the continent. So we are welcoming invitation to be hosted. So Mauritius is now completely virtualized. We literally migrate all services from this little rack that we had before into a new rack. We host 4 environments there, a production, a staging, a dev, and an R&D. And all that is hosted on 2 clusters of 8 physical servers. Our core network is made of 2 border routers and 4 access switches, and we have roughly 14 terabytes of disk space available with more or less 130 virtual machines. In Johannesburg, the infrastructure is in place. We have not yet started the migration. It will commence upon our return from AIS. But we intend to host there 2 environments, public production services and a community lab on 2 clusters of 7 physical hosts. In Johannesburg, our core network is made of 2 border routers as well, 5 access switches, and we have roughly 25 terabytes of disk space. Cape Town is currently just training. We host only our training lab there, but in the year to come, budget allows, we intend to deploy more services in Cape Town as well. Core services, work in progress. RPKI, we made the acquisition of a hardware security model, which we will soon put in production. Our DNS services, roughly 26 CCTLDs have integrated the program. Routing registry, we advised the community in Lusaka that Afrinic had deployed its own routing registry, and we are now busy working with members on a one-on-one basis to migrate their route objects. To facilitate the registration process of potential members, we have worked with member services to deploy a new portal, the new member registration portal. We hope that that portal will enable potential members to have all the information and all details needed to expedite the process of becoming a member. Our new bylaw now caters for a new membership type, the associate member. We are busy working on the portal to integrate that new group into our systems. Secure DNS, secure document management system. We've heard from Amrish this morning on what the team is busy doing. We intend to deploy that pretty soon as well. And to finish, our training department, we now have 4 IPv6 test beds deployed for training activities. And we are also busy working on a new website, which we call Learn 2.0. We expect to deploy that by the end of Q2. Now, let me talk briefly about our WHOIS environment. This diagram here depicts an overview of our WHOIS architecture. As you can see, we have 2 WHOIS servers, one public, and the second one a stealth. Obviously, the stealth WHOIS is where updates are made, while the public WHOIS respond to queries. Our current WHOIS environment presents a lot of challenges. As you know, this environment was implemented at the inception of Afrinic and is C-based. It is quite difficult to maintain it, especially when we have new policies to implement. And on top of this, we suffer from a lack of documentation. And we have a fairly new team that needs proper documentation to be able to tackle activities on the WHOIS. Last but not least, our current WHOIS is not IPv6 compliant. So with the implementation of the 2 new policies, the assign anycast and the no reverse unless assigned policy, we felt that it was the opportune moment to work on the WHOIS environment. We've decided to start with RIPE NCC new Java-based version of the WHOIS, and decided to take the opportunity to launch a complete review of our functional documentation, our business rules, and all our policies. The new WHOIS presents many advantages, among which we can talk about the fact that it's fully unit tested, which enables us to easily identify faulty modification. It's also IPv6 ready, obviously. And in addition to port 43, the new WHOIS supports port 80 and 443. As it caters for work currently in progress, with the Web Extensible Internet Registry Data Service Working Group with the IETF. First, let me start by apologizing to the community. We have requested a waiver to be able to implement this change and have fallen short. The biggest chunk of the work was the documentation, and it's now completely accomplished. We needed to make sure that we have all our processes well documented and that the entire team was pretty confident with the business rules before we actually move on. The implementation phase is completed. There is a beta version in staging, and we call on the community to help us fully test the product and send us comments, questions, or suggestions at whois-group@afrinic.net. We expect to close the comment session by the end of June, upon which we will make necessary adjustments, and by end of July, have the new WHOIS in production. That's it for me. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much, Neria. I think that is the last for this session, and we can move into the Q&A because I already see a question in there. Yes, Andrew.
I'd just like to know from IT, we've had a couple of requests over the years for root objects and a root object database within Afrinic. Are there plans for that? Where is it? When is it coming? Because it would be really useful. Thanks.
Andrew, as I said in Lusaka, we informed the community that our routing registry was operational. What we're doing now is to work with members on a one-on-one basis to migrate their root objects from RIPE NCC database into our own database.
Okay. Thank you, Neri.
Okay, we'll send an announcement with the link so that members who want to play with it, no, not play with it, make use of it, can easily do so.
I think since it's not operational, still play with it. Boubacar?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Boubacar Wakren. Did I get it right that we can ask questions on all presentations or on IT only?
Sorry, proceed.
I would like to know if we can ask questions on all presentations or is it on IT only?
I think you can ask questions, and we had an opportunity for board presentation, but you can still ask a question.
Okay, thank you. I would like to know if you, HR can share with us the salary survey, the results of the salary survey, and if any recommendations were drawn from these results, from the results of the surveys.
Yes, thank you for your question. I can't unfortunately give details on figures, but broadly, the salaries offered to our staff members are in line with what is practiced in the ICT sector in Mauritius. There were two posts that were being underpaid, but we've made the necessary amendments we've taken these into consideration. But it was a very good exercise to carry. It's a good question. Thank you.
I just wanted to ask from this is Adam Nelson, ask from the IT point of view. So is that, I was confused, are we rolling our own WHOIS software, or is that existing software that's being adapted to Afrinic's purpose? And is the source code available, and is it going to be put out on some sort of license?
We've rolled it in our staging environment, and we expect to push it to production by the end of July.
Okay.
There's a question on source code.
Yes, it's an open source version.
Okay, my name is Shil from Nigeria. One of my questions goes to the IT presentation. I wanted to understand why are we concentrating hosting of these services in one region? Maybe 2 years ago or 3 years ago, we'll have said maybe bandwidth issues, but we all know bandwidth is no longer a major issue in most of the countries. So especially submarine cables that have always been in most of these countries. So I want to know why we have two presence in South Africa alone. And I think one of the reasons why we are distributing this is to avoid a possible capture in future. What if the country's law changes? Does it mean that we're going to lose all those stuff just like that? So I think we need to rethink that. Then my other question goes to Mr. Chair. I'd like us to clarify the structure of NOMCOM, the relationship between NOMCOM and ECOM. I'm particularly concerned about the role that the chair of NOMCOM plays in ECOM. The bylaw does not allow or permit the such oversight. So I will suggest that we'll stick to the bylaw by making sure that ECOM is only represented by staff alone. I don't see any need why we need to still have representation of NOMCOM in ECOM. My last question is to member services. I'm worried, perhaps also to human resource. I'm concerned that we have 40 staff and just 3 is actually doing what Afrinic was meant to be doing, servicing the members. So, so it becomes a concern when we hear that 2 people resign and we only have 1 member servicing 1,200 members. So I think I would like to get clarification on what the other 37 are doing, and if what they are doing can be translated to member services, because that is one of the key operations of Afrinic, and we don't want that to be in any way affected. Thank you very much.
Thank you. On your issue on NOMCOM, we've noted that, and I think also internally we've been trying to figure out how to realign that. So you get a realignment on that one from the board. The second question, let me ask my CEO to respond to that, and I will come back to it after.
Yeah, I think when we are looking at the registration service, we have to look at it holistically. The first clarification there is that right now the registration service doesn't have 3 but 4 And if we add the billing function, which is a huge aspect of what we do, that make it 5. So that is the first direct impact. Now, the registration service is one function. That service is supported by many other activities, like the development team right now. All their work is related to registration service. So everything, almost 80% of the activity is related to developing tool and applications that can help registrations to do their work. That being said, 3 years ago, the registration service has only 2. So gradually we are improving and increasing the number of staff dedicated to this function, but not only doing that, even internally in terms of structure, we are thinking on how we do the structure so to consolidate as much as possible those functions on the registration service. So there are several measures there, but the service to a member have to be seen very holistically, and is not only performed by the 4 members of the registration service team.
Thank you, Adiel. I want to add anything. Any more questions or comments, please?
Mr. Chair, I believe Sean asked a question to IT.
Please do.
That I would love to answer.
Please do answer.
As I mentioned in the presentation, we are welcoming hosting environment. We are hosted in South Africa by 2 institutions for free. As you know, we have a very limited budget, and I am so pleased to hear that from you, and hope that we get to hear a welcoming invite to the West, because our objective is to distribute our architecture around the continent. So we count on your help to gradually move towards the West.
I'll ask Adiel to add something onto that, please. No, ask your question, he'll come back. You ask your question, please. Because how do we know it's yours? Carry on, please, proceed.
My name is Barry from Kenya Internet Exchange Point. I just wanted to clarify to you that Kenya Internet Exchange Point actually hosts one of your Tinga Tinga projects. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Sorry, I didn't.
One of your Tinga Tinga projects is actually hosted at KXP. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Yes, the Tinga Tinga project is hosted in Johannesburg.
We have one in Kenya.
One in Kenya as well, yeah.
That wasn't included on your report.
Please accept our apologies.
An oversight.
Members, do we have any more questions on part 1 of the session? Okay, thank you very much. We now look to be moving into the agenda change. Yeah, we said before break. Okay. All right, sorry, an amendment. So we will do financial updates right now. So I'll call for the audit chair to do his presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Maybe we could have the slides up. So this presentation is on the audit committee, what we have been doing, and then there is a following presentation on recruitment of the auditor. Okay, so I'll talk about the audit committee, the process that we've gone through to do audits. We'll look at the financial statements that we have, put out this week, and the opinions of the auditor and the issues that arise from the audit. And I'll close with risks that we see. Okay, the audit committee is a committee of the board. I think we are making our first report in here. The charter was approved in Lusaka, and it's available online. We have had a few hiccups implementing the charter, finance being one of them. And we are making steady progress in putting this into place. So if you want to look at the charter, it's available online. Basically, the audit committee oversees financial reporting. It looks at financial control, looks at issues of risk management. It oversees the audit, both internal and external. At the moment, we don't have internal auditing within AFRINIC. And we recommend appointment of the external auditor. This is in the next presentation. And we monitor compliance with the laws on financial reporting. These are the issues that are covered in the charter of the audit committee. The members are listed here. Myself, I chair the committee. Sunday, Janvier, John, and Chris are the members. And they are here to help me with any of the issues that may arise. In the period after AFRINIC 19, we have met 3 times. In January, we had a first meeting in Mauritius. We looked at the auditor that was in place at that time. We had a meeting with them. We also did a plan for the 2013 audit. We looked at the letter of agreement, and we looked at the fees for the auditor. We looked at issues on whether we should have an internal auditor, and the advice and decision that was made was that probably it would not be useful, and probably it's not necessary. In March, we looked at recruitment of the next auditor. We put out a request for proposals, and the request for proposals is available online, including the methods for assessment or evaluation. And I'll present this in the next presentation. We met in May in Djibouti, and we processed the audit report plus the financial statements and processed the request for proposal. The proponents that made proposals to be the next auditor. So let me look at the audit process for the 2013 statements. As I already indicated, in January we started the process in Mauritius, and we agreed on a plan plus fees. This audit was scheduled to start on 29 January 2014. In the plan, we had 14 checkpoints with deadlines, and we scheduled the process to end on 16 April. So the committee expected a report by end April, but we received the report on 18 May. So there were some delays unexpected delays in the plan. We have processed the audit report here, and we submitted it to the board on 1 June. It has been signed, and it's available online. So in this report, I look at the annual report. I look at the opinions, the financial statements themselves. including comprehensive income, equity, cash flow, and the notes, and of course the risk management. So can I have the report? Can you go back one and click on the link? Okay, let's hope it works. Yeah, thanks. So this is the report. As I indicated, it's available online. Maybe you can do Control Plus to just increase the size a little bit. Okay, better. So I hope I can scroll. I can't. Maybe you go back to the previous one. Maybe I can scroll page by page. So yeah. Okay, great. Thank you. The annual report has been signed by directors, as you can see. It's been certified by the company secretary. It has the opinion page, which I'll come back to if I can. And it's been signed by the auditors on 1 June. The financial position figures are included here if they can fit on one page. It's too wide. We need the figures on the screen. They're on the right. Great. So in this section, we have the plant. Maybe I can have it here. Plant and equipment, the assets page. And rather than go through these page line by line, I will just look at these and show that they are available, but show the issues that have arisen in the next slide. So this is the financial statement side. Then the next page is the comprehensive income side, and that's followed by the cash flows side. And after cash flow, equity, change statement on changes in equity. And then it's followed by the standards page showing that the auditor followed all the standards that are applicable for audits in Mauritius as well as the international standards. And after that come the notes for the audit, and at the end come the risks. So this is available online. You can open it and have a look. And it's my hope that you have looked at this already, since it was circulated on 1 June, which is some 6 days ago. Okay. So what are the issues that have arisen? One of the issues is on plant and equipment. The auditor noted that there is no inventory for equipment, this has been acknowledged by management, and the board has asked management to act on this, and an inventory we have been promised will be available by the end of the year. The second issue was on reserves. The board noted that they are not adequate and recommended that reserves need to be adequate, at least to cover liabilities of the company. If you can close that and go to the next slide. So, plant and equipment, reserves, statement of comprehensive income. Board is concerned about the significant growth in expenditure on administrative issues, and it was noted that quite a big chunk of this expenditure is on HR, human resource. Board is asking for action on this item. Surplus, deficit. Although company has not made a significant surplus, there is a positive surplus, and the company shows good signs of recovery, especially from the 2012 financial report where we saw a deficit. Although this is the case, we would like to see better progress, and I think in the last report in Lusaka, a promise was made for a good recovery to be done in 2 years. So there is some recovery, but our concern is that it's not yet adequate. Risks identified in the audit. There is a credit risk. The credit risk refers to situations where counterparts miss obligations, and in this case we can think of clients of Afrinic. If they don't pay their invoiced amounts, then we have risks on trade receivables. There is also risk on financial activities noted, and this refers to things like foreign exchange. The company carries out its business in rupees, but the counterparts, the clients, pay in US dollars. So there is risk on financial activities, especially with respect to the US dollar. There is a risk in foreign currency transactions. The company, Afrinic, operates internationally, and it's exposed to Forex risks, primarily with respect to the US dollar. A consideration has been made to move the transactions to US dollars following the last audit report, and the board is informed that an application has been made to Secretary of Companies so that Afrinic can report its financial statements in US dollars. Finally, there is a liquidity risk. This refers to the need to maintain sufficient cash and marketable securities so that the company remains liquid. The board noted that the company at the moment doesn't have a credit rating, and if we don't have a good enough credit rating, then probably we could not be able to access credit and not be able to maintain flexible funding. So one of the things that the board looked at is for the company to get a credit rating. Okay, that's the presentation on the audit committee and audit report.
Hi, Andrew Alston, Liquid here.
Chair.
We'll open the floor at the end of the session, please. Andrew, thank you.
No problem.
Can I move to the next?
Please proceed.
Okay. Can you put up the next presentation, please? Okay, the next presentation is on recruitment of the external auditor. So, again, a slide just to show our mandate. And in this case, the last bullet point, the charter of the audit committee gives authority to the audit committee to recommend appointment of the external auditor. And this is what we were doing in this section. So in the 3 meetings that I've already alluded to in the previous presentation, the committee put out a request for proposals, and this was in March, and this was presented to the board in April, and this is available online. I don't think I'll open that link. You can open it, and it's available. And if you look for board or about Afrinic board, then committees, the link is right there on the audit committee. So we had 2 options here. Once we had drafted the RFP, either to advertise it publicly or just to circulate it to all the possible applicants, and we chose the latter. So in Mauritius, there are 92 firms that qualify to audit, to carry out audit, and these are listed by the Financial Reporting Council of Mauritius. Our aim was to circulate the RFP to all the 92 firms, but the problem that we saw is very similar to who is they are listed, but when you call their numbers or you try to trace their addresses, you don't actually get the film. So we would manage to get to 44 films where we delivered the RFP, and of these, 13 films responded to the RFP. The RFP requested that they submit a technical proposal as well as a fee proposal in a sealed envelope addressed to the chairman of the audit committee, care of the finance director at Afrinic. We had a formal opening of the proposals, and that was done in Mauritius, and the proposals were brought here to Djibouti, and we had a meeting for 2 days to assess the proposals, and it included looking at the financial report. The evaluation criteria for the RFP is in Appendix 1 if you open the link, and the results were presented to the board on 1 June. In the results that the committee recommended to the board, the following firms scored highest, with KPMG scoring highest, followed by PricewaterhouseCoopers, Ernst & Young, and Deloitte. We listed only 4, and we felt that the first offer should go to KPMG, and if for any reason we are not able to reach an agreement with them, that the next offer would go to PwC, after that to Ernst & Young, after that to Deloitte. And if an agreement can't be reached with even with the 4th one, that probably a new RFP should be sent. According to the bylaws, it is the board now that recommends this choice of the next auditor. It recommends it to this house, the AGMM, and we are recommending that KPMG be appointed the next AFRINIC auditor. And this is according to bylaw 7.6. The bylaws are available online, so you can have a look at it. And at the end of this presentation, I'll give out a proposal which this house or the AGMM can vote on. So this is the result, and this is the resolution that I hope the chairman can allow me to read.
Proceed.
So resolved, AFRINIC 2014 AGMM hereby appoints KPMG as AFRINIC external auditor for the 2015 to 2017 period, and hence to carry out audit for the 2014 financial year. According to the bylaws, the resolution requires a simple majority, and I guess we can do it by show of hands.
Okay, a resolution has been proposed. Who's seconding that?
Chair, I stand to be corrected. Before we move on to the resolution, I'm just wondering on the proper procedure of going about this, because in the kind of AGMs I am involved in as a CEO, we go about it a bit differently. Maybe it's a Kenyan versus Mauritian law, but I think we need to get input from the members on the financials and what we feel about our expectations moving forward, so that when the board is making a decision on the change of auditors, you have factored in our inputs into your decision-making process, unless we've already consulted before and so you've gone through the process and concluded, or our input doesn't matter.
I'll ask Sandy to respond to that, please.
Thank you very much. The need to change auditors is driven by the fact that we need to have auditor rotation. We've had the same auditor for 10 years. Even if the system is perfect, you still need to shake up the system. So we're bringing this proposal not because we want to hide something that you need to see in the financial report, but the need to have audit rotation. It's part of proper corporate governance.
I agree with you, Sunday. However, all I'm saying is being that the chairman has been very clear that everything normally is community-driven in the same spirit. We are not, we're just saying probably before the resolution was tabled, we would have discussed a bit on our expectations moving forward. Not that there is anything that I personally would want to say, but I think it would have been right to just have an opportunity to discuss the financials, our expectations, and then now the resolution can be tabled.
Noted.
Sean from Nigeria. I just want to confirm what we just had now. Was that the audit report or the financial report? Because I think, just like Fiona said, we need to, there are some more details of the report, which I was expecting to see. If it were a financial report, I need to see the breakdown of how the funds were spent. Right now, what I see on the website is the lump sum, the lump fee. I'm not in accounts department and I don't have the such skills. The only thing I recognize is that 10,000 naira was bought for, a laptop was bought for 10,000 naira. And I think the financial report is what we should present, and let's see how we can discuss this. My other concern is, I'm not sure, I think the bylaw says that we should review the auditor at every AGM. So I'm not sure whether setting a range of years will be in recognition or in accordance with the bylaw. Thank you.
Maybe while the chairman is busy, I can comment.
Please, let's listen to Alan, please.
Hello, Alan Barrett, Associate Member. I came here to say pretty much the same thing that Sion has just said. By my reading of the bylaws, section 7, sub 7, the auditor of the company is to hold office until the conclusion of the next annual general members meeting. So my understanding is that at one meeting, you appoint an auditor who's going to serve from today until this time next year, not for 3 years or something. So please, I would ask that whoever's proposing that resolution, would you modify it to be in accordance with the bylaws? And then also I'd like to support something that Fiona said. I think that we should be discussing the financials in more detail before we start appointing auditors for the next year, because it seems unlikely, but it is possible that something in the financials will affect our decision of which auditor to choose.
Thank you. Paulos, bearing the comments from the floor, can you please respond in a way that will satisfy the need from the floor?
Thank you. I noted that the time allocated for each was only 15 minutes, so I was driven by the time, but the sentiments are correct. The financial statements are available online, and I was hoping that if there are specific questions on specific lines, that we could take them in the Q&A section. But my presentation of both was driven by the time allocated to me.
I think what we can do, which we were planning, I think, is to open the floor now for Q&A on the last two presentations, and then we'll continue the presentation. We'll continue the meeting. So, and that will be in line with the comments that we've gotten from the floor. Please make your comment brief as we're to entertain everybody else's input today.
Hello, this is Frank from Tanzania ISP Association. I have one specific question. Do the financials and or the auditor's report need to be approved by membership? And if so, I would suggest we do that before discussing the resolution for the next auditor. Thank you.